Today we have to continue to talk Anatta Lakkhaṇa Sutta. Buddha explained Anatta non-self in terms of dukkha, in terms of suffering in the Anatta Lakkhaṇa Sutta. Yasama jakho bhikkhave rupa anatta tasama rupa abhadaya savittati. The Sutta says, rupa tends to afflict. Abhada means afflict. Rupa tends to afflict because it is not self. That which is oppressing is a trial, which is oppressing is a suffering, and it is clear that a terrible suffering cannot be oneself. A terrible suffering cannot be one's inner entity. To explain non-self in terms of both impermanence and suffering, Buddha said, Rupa is not permanent. What is not permanent is suffering. What is suffering is not self. What is not self should be regarded with proper wisdom, according to reality. Should be regarded thus, this is not mine, this is not me, this is not myself. So Rupa is subject to change, Rupa is subject to suffering, and therefore it is not self. It is not proper to regard this as mine, what is really not self. It is not proper to think, it is not to be proud of oneself. I can do. It is not proper to regard it as, it is myself. So in this manner, Rupa should be regarded in accordance with reality. In a similar manner, Vedana, Saññā, Saṅkhāra and Viññāna, feeling, perception, mental formation and consciousness should be regarded as not self by their nature of impermanence and suffering. So the idea of anicca and dukkha is accepted outside of the Buddhist teaching, but the doctrine of anatta, refusing the existence of a living entity, is difficult to accept to those outside of the Buddha Sasana, Buddha's dispensation. During the time of our Lord Buddha, a certain wandering ascetics by the name of Sijjaka came to our Lord Buddha and argued on this subject of non-self. So Sijjaka was a teacher of Princess of Vesali, the wandering ascetics. Sijjaka asked Venerable Assaji, the youngest of the group of 5 bhikkhus. So Sijjaka asked, how is your Samana Gautama teaching his disciple? What are his instructions? Venerable Assaji replied, Sijjaka, Rupa, Vedana, Saññā, Saṅkhāra, Viññāna are impermanent, they are not self. This is how our Master Buddha is teaching us. These are his chief instructions. Venerable Assaji answered. Ascetic Sijjaka was a very sharp debater. He decided that he would go to the Lord Buddha and convince him that the Anatta doctrine was wrong. Sijjaka was very confident. He claimed that if he were to debate with a stone pillar, the pillar would sweat from fear. And he claimed that just as a strong man takes a goat and flings it around his shoulders, so he would take hold of Gautama and fling him around in debate. So Sijjaka and his followers went to the Lord Buddha and there exchanged greetings. Now debate starts. So Sijjaka asked Buddha to explain doctrine what you taught. Buddha replied, Sijjaka, I taught 5 aggregates are non-self. Sijjaka countered, no, there is atta, there is self. 5 Greek aggregates are Atta, 5 aggregates are self. He counted. Buddha asked, Sijaka of the Agivisana clan, do you believe that matter is self, feeling is self, perception is self, mental formation is self, consciousness is self? Buddha asked. Sijaka replied, yes, matter is self, feeling is self, perception is myself, mental formation is myself, and consciousness is myself. Then Buddha asked him, Sijaka of the Agivisana clan, rulers like King Pasenadi, King Ajatasattu hold powers in their own country. They kill of those who should be killed, they punish those who should be punished, they banish those who should be banished. They rule over their countries as they will. It is not true, Sijaka? Buddha asked. And Sijaka answered, these kings have indeed such authority over their countries. Even the Lijavi elected by popular votes to rule hold such powers to kill, to punish, or banish in their own countries. Then Buddha said, Sijaka of the Agivisana clan, you said, Metta is self, Metta is my Atta. Could you exercise control over your Atta? You say, your Metta, let my Metta be thus, let my Metta be not thus. Buddha said. The wanderer Sijaka was finding himself on the horns of dilemma. Sijaka had admitted that sovereign kings had complete control over their kingdoms. It appeared that he would have to admit that Metta, which he regarded as self, would be able to be controlled. If he did that, Buddha would ask further question whether he could exercise control over his Metta so as to keep it youthful, like the Metta of the Lijavi princess. And it happened that Sijaka was very ugly. If he said that Metta was Atta, Buddha will ask, why don't you make yourself more handsome? Buddha would ask. So if he replied that it could not be managed, then that would be admission that there would be no control over matter, and therefore it could not be self. Finding himself in this difficult dilemma, Sijaka kept silent without giving any answer. Lord Buddha repeated the question for the second time, but Sijaka remained silent all the time. Before asking him for the third time, Buddha gave him this warning. Sijaka of the Agivisana clan, you should better answer my question. It is not the time to remain silent. When questioned by a Tathagata for a third time, one has to come up with the answer, or else his head will get split open into 7 pieces. Buddha gave this warning. So at that time, a celestial ogre was hovering above Sijaka's head, carrying with thunderbolt. The celestial ogre was ready to split open his head with the thunderbolt. The ogre was visible only to the Buddha and Sijaka, and invisible to others. It is somewhat like ghost manifestation of present days. Some people see the ghost, but some people not see. So Sijaka was greatly frightened by the sight of the celestial ogre. But when he saw the rest of the audience, they are not disturbed in any way. So he realized that the ogre was not visible to them, so he could not say that he had to answer the way he did, be in terror. threatened by the ogre. He also knew that he had no other refuge but the Buddha to whom, so he submitted. Blessed One, may it please to put the question, I am ready to answer. So Buddha asked Sijaka of the Agivesna clan, what do you think of that? You said, metta is self. Could you say of that self, let my metta be thus, let my metta be not thus, according to your wish? Buddha asked. So the Sijaka have to admit, no, the Blessed One, there is no control over my metta. It is contradicting himself. He has said that metta is self. If metta was self, it should be able to control. Now he said that there was no control over metta. This is the admission that metta is not self. Metta is not one's inner substance. When Buddha heard him contradicting himself, Buddha cautioned thus, Sijaka of the Agivesna clan, be careful with what you say in replying. What you said later is not in accord with what you have said earlier. What you have said earlier is not in accord with what you said later. Buddha asks, Sijaka of Agivesna clan, what do you think of that? You said feeling is self. Could you say of that self, let my feeling be thus, let my feeling be not thus, according to your wish? Sijaka had to answer, no, the Blessed One, there is no control over my feeling. Similar question Buddha asked concerning perception, mental formation and consciousness, prefaced by the same caution to take heed so as not to be contradicting himself. Sijaka also have to answer, there was no control over these aggregates. Then Buddha asked Sijaka, metta is permanent or impermanent? Sijaka answered, Bhante, metta is impermanent. Buddha said, what is not permanent? Is the suffering or happiness? Sijaka answered, Bhante, it is suffering. Then what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change? Is it proper to regard it as this is mine, this is me, this is myself? Buddha asked. Sijaka answered, Bhante, it is not. So the same question Buddha asked, feeling, with regard to feeling, perception, mental formation and consciousness, similar replies Sijaka have to answer. Then Buddha asks again, Sijaka of Agivesna clan, what do you think of this? A certain person holds fast to these aggregates of suffering. That person clings to these aggregates of suffering. That person grasps them firmly, believing them to be this is mine, this is me, this is myself. Is there possibility for that person to understand suffering truly and well, to end this suffering? Buddha asked. So these questions are quite subtle and profound. The aggregates of mind and matter, which manifest themselves at the six senses at every moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching and knowing. The person who takes delight in them, the person who thinks them to be this I am, this is me, this is myself, would this person know that these aggregates of mind and matter are suffering? Would it be possible for him to end these suffering, to be rid of these suffering? Sijaka answered, Venerable Gautama, how could it be possible for that person, believing the aggregates to be this is mine, this is me, this is myself, to know the truth of suffering, to end the suffering? Venerable Gautama, it is impossible. Buddha asked, in that case, are you not the person who holds fast to these aggregates of suffering, clinging to them, attached to them, clasping them firmly? The person who believes then to be, this is mine, this is me, this is myself. Sijaka replied, Bhante, I am verily that person. How could I be otherwise? The wanderer Sijaka had thought very hard of his own belief in Atta. He was very arrogant with regard to it. He spoke boastfully about it, but when examined by our Lord Buddha, he was forced to admit the error of his views. His belief in Atta was thoroughly annihilated. To give a final blow to his bloated ego, pride and vanity, Buddha taught by the way of an illustration. Buddha gave this illustration. Sijaka of Agivesna clan, suppose a person wanting the hardwood or jurament of a tree went into the forest to look for it. He saw a plantain tree, and believing to find the hardwood inside it, he felled the tree, cutting it down from the bottom of it. He cut off the top part of the tree and began to peel off the outer skin of the plantain trunk. Not to say of the inner hardwood, he could not even find the outer wood fiber that surround the inner pit in the plantain trunk. Buddha said. Buddha continued, exactly as in that example, when I examine your doctrine in Atta, it is found to be empty of essential inner substance. Did you not take the boast amidst the crowd in the city of Vesali? There was no one who can challenge me in any contest of doctrines without trembling, without sweating. I have not yet come across any recluse or Brahmin who can withstand me without trembling, nor sweating, nor anyone who has admitted himself to be an Arahant, fully accomplished one, and who has become all enlightened. So Buddha continued, Sijaka, you have said, even a lifeless wooden post, not endowed with mind nor mental concomitants, when challenged by me in the matter of doctrine, would tremble and tremble down, not to say of a human person. Had you not made such boast, Sijaka, as it happens, some of the sweat from your brows have soaked through your upper robe, and sweat are dropping on the ground. Sijaka, as for me, I have no sweat on my body. Buddha said. Then Buddha exposed a portion of his body, so as to let people see for themselves there was indeed no sweat on Lord Buddha. Now the wanderer Sijaka had nothing to say in replying. He remained silent. He was embarrassed and crestfallen, with slumping shoulders and lower head. Then one of his followers, a Lejui prince by the name of Domukha, he rose up and asked permission from the Lord Buddha to speak an illustration. And Domukha said, Bhante, there was a tank not far from the town, and there was a crab living in the tank. The young people of the town came out from the town and arriving at the tank, got hold of the crab and placed it on land. The crab was clumsily raising its hands and feet and waving them about. Every time the crab raised its hands or feet, the young people had it smashed off by beating it with sticks of broken pieces of pottery. Dhammuka continued, one day when the limbs of the crab crushed, it could not make its way back to the tank. In a similar manner, Buddha had destroyed all the thorns and spikes of Sijjaka's wrong view, the departures of his wrong view, and the movements of his wrong views. So there is no more possibility for Sijjaka to approach the Buddha again to dispute over doctrinal matters. While Dhammuka, the Lijjavi prince, was addressing the Lord Buddha, other Lijjavi princes were anxiously awaiting their turn to denounce the wandering Sijjaka. Now Sijjaka, seeing the dangerous situation developing in which the Lijjavi would be heaping disgrace on him one after another, he decided to stop Dhammuka. Dhammuka stopped. We are having our discussion with the Venerable Gautama, not with you, Sijjaka said. Then Sijjaka addressed the Buddha, Venerable Gautama, let those be. What we have said and what others have said, I wish to bring them to a close. Then Sijjaka asked the Buddha how one had to practice in the Buddha's sasana, Buddha dispensation, to reach the stage where skeptical doubts are overcome and courage of conviction attained. So Buddha taught Sijjaka that one has to engage oneself in the practice of meditation until one attains the stage when one can see with vipassana insight and knowledge of the path that the five aggregates of matter, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, which are liable to be misconceived as this is mine, this is me, this is myself, are in reality, this is not mine, this is not me, this is not myself, Buddha said to Sijjaka. Buddha said, after realization that the aggregates of mind and matter are not mine, this is not mine, this is not me, this is not myself, one has to continue on practicing until one is free of clinging and attachment. So this is the debate of our Lord Buddha and ascetic Sijjaka. So we have to end our discourse for today by practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, by practicing every phenomena occurring at the six senses continuously and meticulously. May you not cling to the aggregates of suffering. May you not attach to the aggregates of suffering. May you not clasp to the aggregates of suffering. May you end the suffering. May you all practitioners realize the real peace in the very near future.
Sadhu.